Good morning, friends and family. It's James with Crawlers and Customs, and in this video, we're going to be installing our machine billet links on the CEN Racing F450. So if you're new to the channel, I'm James with Crawlers and Customs, and here we do product reviews, product development, and how-tos. And this is going to be a how-to on our billet lower links. If you stick around to the end of the video, we'll also get into product development and show you how I make these. So if you want to start making your own RC parts, we'll give you some tips and tricks there. So stick around to the end for that. All right, so let's get into the install. This is going to be pretty simple. All right, so before we install them, let's talk about some options. You can see these come in a satin silver or satin black, and I sort of mirrored the style that you'll see on radius arms and some of the Ford aftermarket lift kits. So these are sold in sets of 4, and you get 2 lower front and 2 lower rear, and you can see we've already installed one side on this F450. All right, so this is super simple. You'll need a couple of tools. 1.5 and 2 millimeter. And if you have shock pliers and you don't want to scar up the factory links, use those to grab the links. But it's really easy. We're just going to pop a couple bolts out here. And I'll show you a trick when doing these links. You don't even need to remove the side on the axle. Just unscrew the link. And this is where you want to use your shock pliers if you care about the original links. I do a lot of projects, so I try not to damage stuff when I'm working on it. So we're going to remove this grub screw. Just reinstall it back in the link that's still in the truck. Now, when using these power drivers, you can hear that I stop just when you start to get resistance. If you just drive that set screw all the way in or that grub screw, you're going to tear up that link in. So just be careful when using power tools. And take the other side off, do the same thing. So there's our grub screw and our 1.5. Break it loose, unscrew. And you'll see this goes about halfway. Right there was some resistance, so we stop and we take our link. All right, so we've got our front link, and you can see there's sort of a fat end and a skinny end here. So I like to do the fat end towards the axle, but this couldn't be any easier. Screw that other rod end back in, clock it so it's about parallel with the arm like that. Same thing for the front. And we're gonna give this another half turn. And drop our bolt back in the link tab. All right, so that's the front link installed. Let's do the rear. All right, should be easy for you guys by now. Remove this one M3 here. Unscrew. Use our link pliers. Again, only if we care about the finish. Some of you may just want to toss these if you're not working on anything else. So while we're putting these links on, this truck is the one that you guys seen in a lot of videos. It's sort of my default show truck or tow pig. So this has our Alco wheels with our new laser etched caps and our black work bed. It also has the amp research style steps from 110 Rod Shop and the 2018 lights that he does as well. So this is one of my favorite trucks. It's a little bit more subtle. It's not as crazy as some of our other builds, but I really dig it. All right, so we're putting, again, the fat end towards the axle. You can do it the other way, but that's just the way I like to do it. Again, super simple. You just screw these in until they bottom out. And then make sure you clock them so the link ends up where you want. So sort of like that. All right, so that's the links installed. Turn the truck over. All right, so we've got our links installed. Again, this is a set of 4, 2 lower front and 2 lower rear in silver or black. And you can also see our new laser etched caps on the Alco wheels with our stainless spikes. And then this particular truck has our black work bed. It comes with this exhaust tip, and also you'll see we're running 110 rod shop powered side steps, which are really cool. And we've got a Fusion motor in there along with a dual sound up front. So this is the truck that you guys see in a lot of the tow videos, towing that orange trailer from Gremlin Trailers. And then that is the My Trick RC utility light. All right, welcome to the end of the video. Here we're going to talk about product development. So specifically, we're going to take the case of these lower links. So this is the stock CEN Racing link, and when I make parts, I always use a pair of digital calipers and get some baseline measurements. So the length, in this case the diameter, and the thread size, these are tapped for M3. Once I do that, I'll draw, and I use Fusion 360, and I'll make a part that will fit in those same parameters. In this case, I wanted more of a aftermarket style look, but keeping it clean. And so this is a printed part, right? This is just plastic. You know, if I bend it real hard, I can maybe break it, but it's actually surprisingly strong. I drove around the truck a little bit with these on it just to test for fitment. So this is an exact replica of the part that we want to machine. So you can see we went with a sort of a capture design where the ball link end fits inside the link, and that adds to some strength. And then it's an I-beam style too. So this is stronger for both the link ends and the link itself than the original part. And obviously we think it looks better too, right? So we'll show some of that process on Fusion here. And after that, we go to machining, right? So here's the part that we machined, and it's exactly the same in all dimensions, except this is made from aluminum and then anodized black. So this is one of the colors that you can opt for. So let's talk a little bit about manufacturing. You've got to understand how tools work, and just because it can be printed doesn't mean it can be machined, and vice versa. Things like the inside radii of this tool path here where there's this pocket, and then also the holes themselves, you have to consider what can a machine actually cut out. You know, what is possible in the CNC world. So you got to do some reading to sort of understand what the limitations of your manufacturing process are. But it's not that, difficult. You can do some reading and sort of understand it. And that same process we use to make things like our laser cut SLW compatible titanium brake rotors and shims, and even for our wheels, right? So these are just a little bit more complex than the links that you see there. And once you get to the stage of being ready to machine, you've also got to understand sort of the scaling of manufacturing. You can't call a machinist and say, hey, I want 2 front links cut out. Well, you could, but it's just going to be super expensive, because what's going to happen is he's going to set that machine up to do this specific part, right? He's going to do the programming, he's going to get the raw materials, and he's going to cut them out. But if you roll all of your design time, all of the machine setup time, and all of the overhead that's involved, you might end up with 2 lower links that cost you $1,000. So what you want to do is make lots of these, because once you have the machine set up, it can just keep cutting these out for pretty much an indefinite amount of time. So if you're going to approach that machinist, you don't want to say, hey, I want 2 links. You want to say, hey, I want 400, or I want 1,000 links. And now your unit cost comes down, and you can actually add value to your end consumer. And we get away with that because we are the designer, We are the shipping department. We are the web developers. We do everything here at Crawlers and Customs. So anyway, that's our finished product, going from the stock piece to a printed prototype to a machined finished product. And we'll try to do this a little bit more in upcoming videos. When we release new parts, we'll show the process to actually manufacture those. So this is one of our original raw aluminum Alco style wheels. We're going to be doing some anodized silver for a little bit different finish, and that'll be coming up in videos later on. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around. Have a good night.